Hey there, Jake with Jake's Small Engine Garage. Okay, so 2002 TRX250 Honda Recon electric shift problem. I posted a short a little while back about having a broken wire. Well, there is 3 separate problems to this. So let me show you. Alright, so first thing I did is I come and read the codes. I turn it on. Number 1 flashes 3 times. That means angle sensor. So I went down. I already knew that the most common problems on these things are the angle sensors and then the motors. So the angle sensor, which is that plug right there, comes up and it goes all the way into your 24-pin ECM plug. Okay. So first thing I did was I unplugged this ECM and I read continuity from the wires, that 2 wires that go from the ECM plug down to the angle sensor plug. Made sure the circuit was intact, read continuity, and got a complete circuit. So that was good. Then I read the resistance. I know the resistance for the angle sensor is supposed to be between 4,000 and 6,000 ohms. Read the resistance. It was just below 4,000 ohms, which there is a certain give. And but they're so cheap. I just replaced the angle sensor anyways because they go bad all the time on these things, and it 100% will go bad eventually. So I replaced it. I got rid of the code, but there was another problem. Like I said in my short, I had a broken wire. It was this wire here. It's a VCC, which is your voltage common collector, which is plus or minus depending on, in reference to the ground. I know it's confusing, but it's basically a power input to whatever device you go into. And it wasn't a broken wire, it was just a bad pin, bad connection. Repinned it at the ECM. Good to go, I thought. No, still no power to the motor. So I unplugged the motor here, right here. Just goes straight to the motor, just 2 wires. It's like a ground and a power. And then I jumpered power from the battery to the motor plug and see if I could hear that motor try to spin. If it does, your motor is good. Alright, so this device here is called a power probe. This is the device that you hook up to your battery, positive and negative, and you can read voltage, AC and DC. You can read resistance in ohms, you can read continuity, and you can input a ground to complete a circuit, or input your battery voltage to complete a circuit, or energize a circuit. So see, I press the up button and it's trying to input 12 volts. Press the down button, it's trying to input a ground. So what I did was I come to the motor plug, I take my wire that's connected to the bottom of the power probe. It's just a little clip, an alligator clip. Acts as your ground. You go to your ground wire. Now you can do this with just 2 wires from the battery too, just jumpering it. And then I took my power probe tip. In here, you hear that beep. Let's see if you can see this. Okay, see that? I press the up button. You hear that? That's the motor trying to spin. So you know your motor is good there. Alright. Alright, so then basically the next step was to see if I'm getting any signal from the shift buttons. Okay, because the shift buttons, you press up and you press down, and in reference to VCC wire, sends signals straight to your ECM. Basically, I unplugged the ECM, and then I read continuity when I'd press the button, see if I would lose continuity, because how these buttons work is the contact is closed, so you got a constant 5 volts to the ECM. When you press the button down, it opens the contact, you lose that 5 volts, and you're able to shift in that direction. Okay. So I read continuity, good. Plug the ECM back in. Then I went to the wires with my trusty back probes. I back probed the correct wires. Saw that I was reading 5 volts without pressing the button. I pressed the button, I would lose the 5 volts, whether it's shifting up or whether I'm shifted down. So I know I'm getting the signal to the ECM. Next step was to see, am I getting that signal from the ECM to the motor? Because then you got your green here and your orange here on this 4-pin connector. That's the 2 wires that go to the motor. This ECM gets the signal, then it sends the voltage or the signal to the motor. So what I did was I back probed these, didn't get a signal when I pressed the buttons, unplugged this, went straight to the pins of the ECM, pressed the buttons, no signal at all. I'm not getting any power at all to that motor, and after all that, I diagnosed bad ECM, which I've never had on a Recon. So that's a lot of problems with the electric shift. Every single electric shift issue I've had has just been angle sensor or a motor, or maybe a bad connector here and there. This had a bad connector, bad angle sensor, and a bad ECM, which is an expensive part. So I ordered a new ECM from Partzilla.com. I got a commercial account with them. Great supplier. They have everything you need. Order a brand new ECM. I plug it in. Works like a charm. Let me show you how this one doesn't work. Put this all the way in. Okay, so with the old ECM in, turn the key, we're on neutral, good deal. Right here, we got nothing. Remember the first, I had blinking 3 times on the number 1, and that was the angle sensor issue. And I had the bad connector at the ECM, and I had a bad ECM. I won't shift at all, okay? Let's plug in the new ECM. New ECM, 24 pin. 4-pin, sends power to the motor. Let's try it again. Look at that. So there you go. It's rare. In my experience, it's rare. But in this case, the ECM did go out. I went to this customer's house saying, "No, I'll get this fixed, no problem, real quick. Just the angle sensor issue, I'm sure." Yeah. Nope. A lot of time later. So there you go. Kind of short and sweet. But yeah, go through your steps. You know, if you have to cut the circuit in half to diagnose it, that's fine. But check your basics first, check your pins, connectors, check to see if that motor spins, ohm out your angle sensor, read continuity through your wires, see if you got power going into the ECM, see if you got power going out of the ECM. It's pretty basic. Alright, it's morning time here, and we're going to take it for a stroll even though it's about 15 degrees. It's nice and sunny out. We'll go through the gears a little bit and see how she rides. Here we go. Alright. Oh, look at that. Starts right up. Down the reverse. Look at that. This is not a good way to shift, but I gotta test these gears, so. Old Honda still runs great. Beautiful. Alright, so there we go. Another one down. Not as easy as I thought it was going to be. Usually it is the angle sensor or the shift motor. This time it was 3 different issues. So it's odd, it's rare, but hey. Now you know how to diagnose the problems, and now I know, because I'm learning every day. I'm learning as we go too. So once again, thank you for tuning in to Jake's Small Engine Garage, and we'll try to have another episode next week. Okay, so thanks, like and subscribe, and appreciate it, everybody.